All right, Unit 3 test review is all about lines, slopes, and intercepts, y equals mx plus b, all that kind of stuff. This may be a longer video than usual because I'm going to try to really go into detail about every topic that the question covers, not just answer the question. So, fast forward through it all if you need to. If you are stuck on anything, watch it in detail and hopefully you'll brush up on everything you need to know. So we're going to start with number 1 and write the equation in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is going to be y equals mx plus b. You need to know that m is your slope, b is your y-intercept. So we have to find our slope first. That is rise over run. Start with the left point, go up 4, over 3. Our slope is 4/3. The y-intercept is just where the line crosses the y-axis, right there at 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. Our equation, y equals 4/3 x plus 4. The x-intercept, easiest way to find the x-intercept is to look at where the line crosses the x-axis. In this case, -3. So that's it. If you can't do that for what, well, on number 2, we'll run across that issue where we can't see it. So I'll hold that off until number 2. Again, we need to find the equation, mx plus b. If I can find the m that goes here and the b that goes there, then we're good. M is my slope. So I'm going to count from the left dot, rise down 1, run 3. It's -1/3. X plus the y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 again. There's my equation. The x-intercept now, we have to either get it by looking at the graph, which is where the line crosses the x-axis. I don't know where that is. I'm sure you could figure it out if you think hard enough, but I'm going to show you plan B. That always works. The x-intercept, oh, I shouldn't have erased that, is way over here at the coordinate something, comma, 0. My y value has to be 0 because I can't go up or down if I'm on the x-axis. So I need to find the x when the y is 0. Well, the easiest way to do that is to go to this equation and make your y 0. So 0 equals -1/3 x plus 4. Now I have an equation I can solve for x with. You can do that using opposite operations the way you have been taught, or you can use numerical solve on your calculator. However, you just need to get x by itself. -4 to both sides, -4 equals -1/3 x. To cancel out a -1/3, we're going to multiply by -3. So -1/3, -3 cancel out. X equals +12. That is our x-intercept. So look at the picture. Does that seem reasonable? Yes, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you could have gotten that by the graph pretty easily by just going over 3 over and over. So it's good to kind of check your answer both ways to make sure it sounds reasonable. Number 3A. These are not like the worksheet where the answers to A and B are the same. I shouldn't have called it 3A and 3B. It should have been 3 and 4, but too late for that. Whatever. Convert the following equations to slope-intercept form. Uh-oh. Okay. Pause for a phone call. Slope-intercept form and identify the slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept. First, we have to put this in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. If we can solve for y, that's what we're trying to do. So isolate the y, get it all by itself. First remove the 3x by subtracting it. Negative 2y equals negative 3x minus 8. Divide by negative 2, and you got y equals positive 3 over 2x plus 4, because negative divided by negative is always positive. There's our equation. Identify the slope. Well, your m is your slope. That's 3 over 2. Your b is your y-intercept. That's positive 4. The x-intercept is different. That's where we need to look at this equation and figure out, sort of like up above, when I talked about this right here, we need to find the x when y is 0. So take this equation that we just found and make the y 0. 0 equals 3 over 2x plus 4. Solve for x. Numerical solve or opposite operations. Negative 4 equals 3 over 2 x. To cancel out a 3 over 2, we can divide by 3 over 2. Stick that in your calculator, or another way of doing that, dividing by 3 over 2, if I have negative 4 divided by 3 over 2, that's the same as negative 4 times 2 over 3. That's a little bit easier to do because you don't need a calculator. Negative 4 over 1 times 2 over 3. Multiply the tops, you get negative 8. Multiply the bottoms, you get 3. Negative 8/3 is your x-intercept. If you did it on your calculator, convert it to a decimal, I would prefer the fraction, but negative 8/3 would be what? Negative 2.6 repeated? A third away from 3, yep. So there's your fraction version. That's all you're doing on these 4 equations. Solving for y, then plug in 0. 3b minus 2x to both sides, we have 10y equals negative 2x plus 10. Divide by 10, and y equals negative 1/5 x plus 1. That's negative 2 over 10 to get my slope, negative 1/5. 10 over 10 to get my y-intercept. That's the b. Then the x-intercept, take that equation, plug in a 0 for y. 0 equals negative 1/5 x plus 1. Solve it. So minus 1 to both sides, and then negative 1 equals negative 1/5 x. Multiply by 5, negative 5 to cancel out negative 1/5. Negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5. There's your x-intercept. 4a, I'm going to erase some of this from up above. I might have space. We'll try to keep it. Minus 3x to both sides. That gives me negative y equals negative 3x minus 3. This here is a y, it's not in y equals form, it's in negative y equals. I need to see that negative 1 there that's in front of the y and divide to get rid of that. That gives me positive y equals positive 3x plus 3. So there's my equation. I haven't been identifying the slope and y-intercept like the problem says. I forgot about that. But we know that's the slope. That's the y-intercept. Hopefully we got that down. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. For the x-intercept, take this equation, make the y 0. 0 equals 3x plus 3. You minus 3 to both sides. Negative 3 equals 3x. Then you divide by 3. X equals negative 1. So I'll squeeze it in here. Last one. Cramming everything in here, running out of space. Wonder if I make that thinner, I think it'll look a little nicer. Isolate the y. I need to plus x and 3y equals x plus 15. Divide by 3. Got y equals this, sort of the same little issue we had over on number 4a with the negative y. This x needs a number in front. Think of that as 1x. Now I have 1/3 x plus 15 over 3 is 5. That's the equation. The slope is 1/3. Y-intercept is 5. X-intercept is, make the y 0. 0 equals 1/3 x plus 5. That becomes a negative 5 over here equals 1/3 x. Multiply by 3 to cancel out the 1/3. X equals 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. So, all four of those, we solved for y, found the slope, y-intercept, x-intercept. Number 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is all point slope formula. We have to have the slope, combine that with a point, and then plug it into, I'm going to write it up here so we got it. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. First, we have to have our m. We don't have that. We need that. So I'm going to use the slope formula, which you also might need, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the slope formula. Equals m. Those are the two red posters. So if you know those two, you're good. Find the slope first using the slope formula. Y2 minus y1. So 12 minus 6 over x2 minus x1. 1 minus negative 1. That gives me 6 over change is 2. My slope is 3. M equals 3. Point slope formula is where I go to next. Y minus, now I have to choose one of these points. It doesn't matter which one I choose. That one's all positive, so I think I'm going to go with that. Y minus 12 equals m, which is 3, x minus 1. Up here the point is x1, y1. So that's where I got the 12 and 1 from. This equation needs to be put in slope-intercept form. So we just solve for y. Distribute to get 3x minus 3 equals y plus 12. And then get rid of the plus 12 by subtracting. Y equals 3x minus 15. Number 7. I'm going to skip down to number 7 next. We'll do 6 and 8 at the end. Slope, y minus y, 5 minus 3, over x minus x, 15 minus 9. That equals 2/6, which is 1/3. Oh, how much space. Point slope formula. We got cut out some space here. Y minus, let's see, they're all positive, so no point really stands out above the rest. Those numbers are smaller. We'll go with 9, 3. x1, and y1. So y minus 3 equals m, which is 1/3, x minus 9. Distribute 1/3 x minus 1/3 times 9 is just 3, or 1/3 times negative 9 is negative 3. That's y minus 3 equals that. Get rid of the minus 3 by adding 3, and we have y equals 1/3 x over a yellow dot. Negative 3, positive 3 is 0. So just 1/3 x is our slope, or our equation. Now 6 and 8 are a little bit special. If I look at 6, find the slope like normal using the slope formula. 2 minus 2 over 4 minus negative 6 plus change. I get 0 over 10. That is 0. If you remember in our notes, we took notes over 0 slope. That is a horizontal line. With the equation, y equals just a number. That number happens to be the y value from the two ordered pairs, which is 2. But let's say you forgot that. 0 is a normal slope. We treat it like it's different, but it's not. So if we go through the normal process, we can use the point slope formula. Y minus y1, I'm going to use this first, or the second point, the positive point. So y minus 2 equals m, which is 0, x minus 4. Now 0 times parentheses x minus 4 is just 0. That's nothing. 0 times anything is nothing. So y minus 2 equals 0. Get rid of the minus 2 by adding 2. You get y equals 2, which is what we had a while ago. So it seems like a special case, but it's normal. Number 8, on the other hand, is not. Slope formula, 9 minus negative 3, change, over 10 minus 10 is 12 over 0. That is not 12, that is not 0. Type it in your calculator, type it in your phone, and it gives you undefined. This is a special case. This is not normal. We cannot plug in undefined as our m in the formula. It's not a number. We can't do anything with it. From your notes, we know undefined is a vertical line, straight up and straight down. With the equation, x equals blank. Just a number, x equals some number. That number happens to be the x value from the two ordered pairs, which is 10. So, equation here is x equals 10. If you want to think about what these points look like, sketch a little graph. 10 comma negative 3 is here. 10 comma 9 is here. That's a vertical line. Shifted to the right 10 units. So x equals 10 is the equation. That's an arrow pointing to it. That's not another line that I graphed. That is just something you have to memorize. Got to know that undefined is special case x equals 10. Little trick that will help you remember. 0, when you write the word 0, your pen does that first. 0, horizontal line. Undefined, your pen goes straight down to make your U. Undefined. So, 0, horizontal, undefined, vertical. That'll help you remember it. I know it's stupid, but it works, I promise. On the back, number 9, word problems. While out on Halloween, my son, one of them, I don't know which one, both of them, I guess, got 3 pieces of candy per house. Well, how many houses did he go to? I don't know. That's why it's just 3 per house. That is my unknown. So 3 times X. He went to 100 houses, he's going to get 300 pieces of candy. At the end of the night, I stole 37 pieces of candy from him. So I am gaining candy, he is losing candy. So minus 37 is what that means. Write an equation showing how much candy he ended up with as a function of how many houses we visited. So the amount of candy he ends up with. He got 3 per house, but then he lost 37. So there's our equation. X in this problem is the houses. Y is the amount of candy. Thinking way back, domain is our X, range is our Y. That will come down into play on 9C. Is this function discrete or continuous? Hadn't talked about that in a while. It's not on your test. But discrete means only specific X values work in this situation. Continuous means any single X, positive, negative, whole numbers, decimals, fractions, any X works. I know I cannot go to 7.3 houses. I can't go visit negative 18.1 houses. It is not continuous because only whole number, positive numbers work. I can go to 7 houses, 20 houses, 100 houses, only positive whole numbers. So it's discrete because only positive whole numbers work as X. Is 175 a reasonable range value? I know that range is the output, which is the Y values. So output, or Y, is candy. So what this is asking is, could he have ended up with 175 pieces of candy exactly? Why or why not? Is there a certain amount of houses, or is there a certain X that works that gives me the output 175? Well, I could guess and check. I could start plugging in numbers until I either find it or not, or I can just take 175 and replace that with, or replace Y with that. So I'm going to go with that way. 175 pieces of candy is going to be 3 per house minus 37. Numerical solve that if you want. Opposite operations if you want. Add 37 to both sides. We have 3x equals 175 plus 30 is 205 plus 7 more is 212. Double check my work because I don't want to be wrong. 175 plus 37. Where's my 175 plus 37. Oh, come on. Give me a calculator. 175 plus 37 equals 212. Divide by 3, and x equals, divide by 3, 212 over 3. 212 divided by 3 is 70.6 houses. Is it possible for me and my kids to go trick-or-treating to exactly 7.6 houses? No, it is not. So 175 is not a reasonable range value because can't go to 70.6 houses. Now I could go to 70 houses, or I could go to 71 houses and get a little bit more, or a little bit less candy, but I cannot have exactly. He can't, not me. I got 37 pieces I stole from him. He cannot have 175 exactly for all of those reasons. Find the equation of the graph. Vertical line. We know a vertical line has what slope? Undefined slope, which has to have the equation x equals something. In this case, that something is wherever the line is shifted to. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units to the right. X equals 4. Number 11, horizontal line. 0 slope. I know from my notes that is y equals just a number. That number is how far the line is shifted down. In this case, it's -3. Y equals -3. Number 12 is a normal line, diagonal, with a slope, with a y-intercept. It has an m and a b, so I know my equation is going to be y equals mx plus b. I see a point there. I see a point there. My rise and run is 1/2. So y equals 1/2 x. My y-intercept is -3. So there's the equation for that. 13. Caleb is starting a new diet in order to lose weight. The equation y equals 225 minus 5x can be used to calculate y, his weight, as a function of x, the number of weeks since he started his diet. What does the y-intercept in this function represent? Well, I know my y-intercept comes from my equation, which is in y equals mx plus b form. This is the m, and this is the b. It's backwards, out of order. I know that because the m is paired up with the x. That's -5. The b is without the x. So my y-intercept is 225. That has something to do with his weight. He's trying to lose it. So if I know that x is the number of weeks, then we can kind of figure out that every time x gets bigger, we multiply another -5, he is losing 5 pounds every week. That's why it's minus 5x. So the 225 is where he started, is his starting weight. And that leads into the next question. What is the slope? Well, -5. That means he's losing 5 pounds per week. After 6 weeks, what will his weight be? Well, x is the number of weeks, so they're telling us now that x is 6. So, take this equation and 225 minus 5 times 6. That's 225 minus 30, which is 195. 195 pounds. 14. Caleb's brother is starting a different diet. 2 weeks after starting his diet, he weighed 190 pounds. 5 weeks after starting, he weighed 166 pounds. At what rate is he losing weight? So, what they're giving me here is sort of like 2 ordered pairs. After 2 weeks, he's 190 pounds. So, I could think of that like weeks, comma, pound, the ordered pair is 2, 190. After 5 weeks, he is 166. We need to find the rate. The rate is the slope. We haven't talked about that a lot yet, but at what rate is he losing weight? Well, we need to figure out how many pounds he's losing per week. So if I do the slope formula, 166 minus 190 divided by that, which is 5 minus 2 weeks, we can tell he has lost 24 pounds. So negative 24 in 3 weeks. So Caleb's brother lost 24 pounds in 3 weeks. That's his change in weight over the change in time. So if I simplify that, negative 8 means that he has lost 8 pounds per week. The lost is like our negative for negative 8. So he's down 8 pounds each week, at least in between 2 and week 5. Good luck. Got any questions? Come to Tutoring Monday or Tuesday, or email me, or get them answered somehow. Be prepared Tuesday. You need to know pretty much everything on this review in order to be successful on the test. Nothing tricky, nothing you've never seen before. No surprises. Just what you see here. Good luck.